What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at Avaiya is what the world needs.
Hello, Avaiya family. I'm Andy Anderson. My partner Ike Allen and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of Avaiya University. Avaiya is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Our fellow teacher, Michael Stone, is back with us today to talk about overcoming people-pleasing and becoming more self-empowered with NeuroDynamic Breathwork. Michael attended his first breathwork session back in 2005 and was blown away by the power of the breath. It was such a life-changing experience for him that it changed his career direction, and he decided to focus his life around breathwork in support of world healing. Michael has a unique way of combining his science background with his breathwork training and experience that allows him to create a safe space for participants to open their hearts and have transformative, life-changing experiences. Welcome back to Avaiya, Michael.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you back. So why don't we get a little background on you to get started? How and why did you get into breathwork?
Well, the short version of the story is that as I was growing up, I was always very good in things that had to do with science, with kind of logic and thinking, but I was not so good at things that had to do with more like right brain kind of things, where I had to be in relationship with people and just in romantic relationships. And I couldn't figure out why. And I always thought, okay, I'm not with the right person. I mean, that was kind of like my logic at the time. And I wasn't far enough along in my personal development to realize that the other person wasn't the common thread, it was me. So clearly I was the issue, not the other person. I just didn't get it at that point. And this was going on for years. And at a certain point when I was in my 40s, and I still had not had a successful relationship, I ended up going down to South America and doing a journey on ayahuasca. And I didn't even know what it was at that point. I never heard of it. I just happened to be there out in the rainforest, and it was offered to me. And so I figured, okay, whatever. And so, but I had this amazing experience, and it was really the first time that I felt safe in the world, and where I kind of shifted my perspective to the world is happening, from the world is happening to me, to the world is happening for me. And when I got back, I'm going, oh my God, this was an amazing experience. If I can have this experience with the substance, the receptors have to be there in my brain. There's got to be a way to do it without the substance. And that's ultimately what brought me to breathwork. And then I originally searched around, and the one that I really resonated with was holotropic breathwork, because it was developed scientifically by Dr. Stan Grof. And I got into that, had some similar experiences, became a facilitator, and then started working with people in the Los Angeles area where I live. And through breathwork, I actually got to the bottom of why I was having trouble with relationships, and actually healed that piece of myself. And what I saw was that when I was a child, I'd had this experience where both of my parents are Nazi Germany escapees, Jewish. And when I was growing up, I'd always ask my mom, what was your childhood like? And so she would tell me, and where she was okay with it, but I came to this conclusion based on the fact that she'd been ensconced in German society for hundreds of years, her family, and all of a sudden one day she had to run for her life, that the world is an unsafe place. So I actually saw where that whole thinking pattern started. And once I saw it, I could start to work with it. And that was part of the reason that, I had this intense desire to have people like me, but I got to a certain point and it just wasn't working, because I was twisting myself and trying to be this way and that way. And even in relationships, I wasn't being who I really was. And that was part of what, you can't have a relationship if you're just going to be acting and pretending and trying to figure out what the person likes and being that kind of person, because ultimately they see through you and they know that you're not being real. So once I could start to heal that and start to feel more safe in relationships and being more open and vulnerable, I was able to heal that, and to the point where now I've been in like this amazing 11-year relationship.
Well, congratulations. I love to hear that, Michael. And so thank you for giving us the background on how you got into breath work and what inspired you to actually develop your own modality of breath work. Yours is called NeuroDynamic Breathwork. And what would you say is different about it than other types of breath work?
Most breath work is what I call non-directive, or I'm sorry, directive. And so what that means is basically during the breath work, there is a facilitator, you're closing your eyes, you're doing deeper breathing, and the facilitator is guiding your experience in some way. And so I wanted to have a breath work for a different purpose. The purpose being more that people could see that they already had all the answers within. And there's this deeper part of our psyche in the same way that our body knows how to heal itself. And if we just get out of the way, and we don't have to do anything. It's like if you get sick, your body knows what to do. If you get a cut, your body knows what to do. And in the same way, our psyche has the same drive towards wholeness and health, but we get in the way. And when I say get in the way, I mean we're constantly thinking these repetitive thoughts about, oh my God, what's going to happen if this happens? And what's going to happen if that happens? And even with people pleasing, oh, if that person doesn't like me, I'm going to die. And, throwing cortisol into our system. And we are virtually never in this quiet space where we can connect with this amazing inner resource that we have. And that was one of the things that I loved about holotropic breath work. But the issue with holotropic was that it had to be done in person. And it was 12-hour workshops, basically. So there was a very small sliver of society that could really take a day or two out of their life, spend what needed to be spent to be able to put on a workshop like that. And so I decided that, okay, people are getting these amazing experiences, just like I did in breathwork when I facilitate. I need to develop a modality where people can experience it easily, comfortably, and at low cost. And I saw the only way to do that was to bring it online. Holotropic, you can't do online. So I spent like 6 months kind of just working with people and seeing what would work, what wouldn't work, and how to best bring it online. And ultimately, about 4.5 years ago, NeuroDynamic Breathwork was born. It's a modality that can be done online or in person. And it's just as holotropic. Its fundamental premise is the answers lie within. You don't need to look into the outside world to find out what your mission in life is or how to be happy. And once you start feeling more self-empowered and seeing that you already have the answers, you're much less driven towards having people like you, because it's like the important thing is finding out who you really are and then bringing that into the world. And you start to see that you have a unique gift that only you can bring to the world, that and everybody's different, of course, and that you start to feel like, okay, this is my job, this is my mission in life, to take this unique gift and contribute it to the world. And that's one of the things that I got out of my breath work, was that I saw that one of my strong points was that I could allow people to feel safe in these expanded states experiences. And I saw that that was my mission. That was my goal in life. And more than half of people that do this kind of breath work find and become more clear on their goal in life, what they really want to do. They become more self-empowered. As they start to see, they can look inside for the answers and not depend on other people who they're making them give them the answers. And so it's really wrapped around self-empowerment and is very, very helpful for people who have any types of challenges around people pleasing.
Mm-hmm. And from your own personal experience, how has your breathwork practice allowed you to be less dependent on psychologically on what people think of you?
Yes. Well, first of all, it as I said before, it started with relationships. I started to see that in order to have a successful relationship, it wasn't about having the person like, or to twist myself into a person that I thought the other person would like. That what really attracted them to me was me being who I am. And that includes all the difficult pieces, all the different pieces of myself, even though there were some pieces that are selfish, pieces that I'm not necessarily proud of. Just being who I am was what really made the relationship deeper and what really helped bond me with the other person. And that's part of what I'm saying. Okay, this whole thing about twisting myself to being a people pleaser doesn't work, because I'm attracting people who, if they do like me, they like me for this kind of fake person that I'm showing them. And as soon as I let myself be real, they're going to go anyway. So those aren't the people that I want in my life. So that started to become very clear to myself. And also, like, once I started to become more clear on what my purpose was in life and what I could bring to the world, it just became so much less important to have people like me. Because it's really about, I was more focused on what could I bring to the world, and the people who respond to that, they'll come. The right people will come. And like, with breath work, and they'll tell their friends, and their friends who are into, what I have to offer to the world, they'll come. I don't have to be anybody else than who I really am. So that started being, very, very helpful. And the breath work was what really allowed me, and this whole shift about the universe kind of operating for me instead of to me was a major help. Because even when things didn't go well, I would look at it from, okay, what can I learn from this? Not going into this spin of, oh my God, this person isn't going to like me because I said this or this or that. It's more like, what can I learn from this? And how can I bring it to what I'm bringing to the world and make it a better experience for people? So if things in my breathwork sessions, there was a couple people who said, oh, that didn't work for me, that didn't work. And instead of like going into my space, oh my God, that person doesn't like me, I was like, okay, let's take that into consideration. And I'll try to make a better breathwork session next time. So it really shifted my whole perspective of my interactions with people. And again, like the angle of self-empowerment. And one of the other things that people get from breathwork is feeling more connection to themselves, more self-love. And once they start to accept all the pieces of themselves, these pieces that they push back and suppress and that they may not like immediately, and become a whole person, then that makes a huge difference also in terms of just allowing yourself to be who you are and not being so intent on hiding certain things so that people will like you.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a nice benefit of breath work. Something probably most of us want. What other kinds of results have people gotten based on doing your breath work?
Well, a couple of reasons that people do end up being people pleasers is, one is anxiety, where people become very anxious about being socially accepted, and it's really an attempt to manipulate other people's opinion of you by shifting yourself. And the other one is trauma. Many times when people have trauma in their childhood, and they have, especially if it's with their caregiver, who they're dependent on for life at that point, they have this kind of thinking pattern that develops, I have to have people like me or I'm going to die, or something horrible is going to happen. And so, those are, two of the, and people start to release anxiety. Those are one of the two major things that happens in breathwork. Over 85% of people alleviate anxiety. Over 85% of people also get relief from trauma. So two of the most important things that create this kind of people-pleasing personality get worked with during the breathwork. And again, it's the reason it works is because people start to feel more self-empowered. They start to feel more connected to themselves. They start to feel more self-love. They start to have greater self-awareness. Those are the things that more than half of the people, and sometimes as much as 75 or 80%, who breathe on a regular basis start to really embody, basically. Mm-hmm. And so all of that stuff is very helpful. And in the sessions themselves, they're 2-hour sessions. They start with an intro talk. There's an hour of breathing. And then afterwards, there's a share circle where people can share their experiences. And the share circle, I call it self-expression gym. And part of it is to work with where people have a fear around expressing who they really are, because they're, again, this thing about, well, what if people don't like me? And it's really a practice that people develop where they can be who they are, say whatever happened during the session, even if it's something difficult or something that they've been hiding from other people. And they can see that it's okay to express into a group, and people aren't going to turn their backs on them. It's just this incredibly open, safe, supportive space where people can truly express what needs to want to come out. Mm. So that piece of it is actually very, very helpful for people who are working with this kind of people-pleasing personality, and then they can bring that back into their lives afterwards, where they feel more comfortable with self-expressing. Once they start to kind of develop that neural pathway, it's okay. And even if there's a couple people that don't like me, that's okay too.
Right.
So the whole structure is really very helpful in terms of working with that particular issue. And just anything, and also just being more self-aware, being more connected to yourself, and feeling more self-love. That's, it goes beyond people-pleasing. It's just making you more effective in life, allowing you to feel more safe in life, allowing you to really contribute who you are to life. To me, that's the most important thing. And I know I said this before, but it's so important. You are the only person who has your unique gift to bring to the universe. If you don't do it, no one else will. And it's all based on everything you've gone through, all the difficulties you've gone through, that you've overcome, all the strengths you've developed. And that was one of the prime purposes that I developed this for, so that people would have a pathway to connect to their own inner gift, to what their unique gift was to bring to the world, and then have enough confidence to actually bring it out there and put it out there and find their purpose.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And I definitely see how it can be beneficial for that people pleasing, because definitely a lot of people come from a trauma background or have a lot of anxiety, like you mentioned. We have some time today to do a little session, if you would be so kind. Can you take us through one of your short breathwork sessions so we can experience it?
Sure. Yeah. So the regular sessions are an hour long. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just give you a little 7 or 8 minute taster session. And this is not to dive you into a deep experience or whatever. This is more just to give you a little taste of, just even through just 7 or 8 minutes of breath, what kind of shifts you can feel in your body. And you can just look at, how do you feel now? How do you feel afterwards? And just kind of look, is there anything that's shifted at all? Do you feel more embodied? Do you feel more relaxed or whatever? And Andy, while I'm doing this, if you could also make me a co-host so I can share the music afterwards.
Yes. 1 second. Let me do that.
So basically, the underlying principle that during the session, the things that I would like you to remember are, first of all, trust the process. Whatever wants to come up, let it come up. No judgment, no expectation. And so just be really open to whatever wants to happen. And it's kind of like surrendering to the process. 2 of the basic principles are surrendering to the process and trusting that whatever comes up is exactly what needs to come up in this moment. This amazing inner resource that we have that I call inner guiding intelligence, that really will bring you the experience that you need today and will bring it to you in a way that you're capable of handling it. So this whole modality of breathwork is very different than intense stuff like psychedelics or something, where it's really chemically inducing all this stuff to come up that you may or may not be ready to really work with. This is a very, very safe way of working with anything that's suppressed in your system or anything that wants to happen, because it's all coming up naturally, just through breath. And also, I just wanted to mention briefly, breathwork is not new. Breathwork has been around for millennia. And really what the advancement is that, I've basically created it in a new way that is more accessible and more easy for the people in the modern world to do, that, can't take a day or 2 days out of their life to do one thing, just to be able to have an experience in a couple hours. And if you look at the ancient world, it's even embedded in the language, where in the language is many times like the same word for breath is the same word for life or spirit, in Latin and in Greek. So this has been around for a long time. And it's been used in almost every spiritual path in terms of, being more self-aware and, being able to access pieces of yourself that you normally aren't able to access. So this is a tried and true, way of having these experiences. Okay, so today, basically, you're going to be allowing to whatever wants to happen, and just focusing on the breath. And if your body, let's say, wants to move a little bit, you can do this either sitting up or laying down. If you're sitting up right now, that's fine. And so if during the session, your body wants to move a little bit, that's fine. or even if sounds want to come out a little bit, that's also good. Or if you're just kind of being in space, it's also good too. But it's just really starting to practice to surrendering to what wants to happen, just to let life flow through you. And the breathing technique is as follows. You're going to be doing deeper breathing in and out through the mouth. And this is a technique that's specifically for NeuroDynamic Breathwork. It's not a technique that you're going to be breathing, as you walk around in your everyday life. So full deep breaths in and out through the mouth. And so when you breathe in, your belly expands. So if you put your hands on your belly, it should get pushed out. So it looks kind of like this. And you can just breathe at normal pace. So you don't have to breathe faster. In a regular neurodynamic breathwork session, I do have people breathe a little bit faster. But for this short session, just normal pace is totally fine. And you want to breathe in a connected way. So you're breathing in or breathing out, always a circle of breath, no gaps. So just basically, and it's an eyes closed experience. So once the music starts, you're going to want to close your eyes, or some people like to put an eye mask on, if that makes it easier. And breathe in a way that's enjoyable, not so it's stress. Don't put tension in your body. Just kind of, just like, like, let's say you're getting up in the morning, first breath of the day. You're just kind of enjoying life. No tension, no stress, but full deep breathing in and out through the mouth. And you want to stay with that technique all the way through the 7 minutes. And at the end, like the last track is very gentle, very soothing. And if it's getting to that place and your breath wants to just kind of slow down a little bit or just come back to more of a normal rhythm, that's fine too. But moving the air actually creates certain physiological changes in your body that support like your thinking mind quieting down a bit, which is very helpful to the breathwork process. So you do want to, stay with the breath, stay with the breath. And opening your eyes really does jar you out of the experience. You want to keep your eyes closed. And also you want to listen to it in whatever way you get the best sound quality. Some people like to put on an over-the-ear headset if you have one. If you're on a cell phone, you can just use earbuds if that's all you got. But just whatever way you get the best sound quality, because the sound does make a difference. Music is part of the process. And you're focusing on your breath and just kind of allowing the music to carry you. Okay.
I'm not hearing any music yet. Have you not?
Oh, no, I haven't played it yet.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
No, we're all good. So let me get the music share ready here. It was just kind of like my intro. Okay, so at this point, if everyone can close your eyes, just take a deep breath. Just let it out. Bring your attention into the present moment, into the now. Just taking a moment to allow whatever tension is in your body to release. Maybe just visualizing going through each part of your body, starting with your feet and your calves. And as you go through each body part, just visualizing all the tension release into the universe. So your upper legs and torso area, your belly, your face, relaxing your jaw muscles, your forehead muscles. Maybe giving your shoulders a bit of a stretch. Relaxing your arms. Now, just allowing whatever wants to happen as we move forward in the breath. letting go of control, surrendering to the process. And now deepening the breath, starting to take full deep breaths in and out of the mouth, breathing fully and deeply, deeply and fully, fully and deeply. But keeping your body relaxed, breathing fully and deeply, deeply and fully, fully and deeply. Staying with the breath, staying with the breath. And for some people, it supports them on making a little sound on the out breath. You can just see if that feels right to you. Either way is fine. Breathing fully and deeply, and just at normal rhythm is fine, normal pace. And now breathing in a way where there are no gaps, where you're always breathing in or breathing out. Just creating a wonderful circle of breath. Breathing fully and deeply, deeply and fully, fully and deeply. Staying with the breath, staying with the breath. And now just letting go. And in a moment, the music will begin. Have a wonder-filled journey. Now just keeping your eyes closed just for another few moments if that feels right. Just being with yourself. Some people like at the end of the session just to put their hands on their heart, just to kind of send themselves love and compassion. See if that feels right. Slowing down the breath to a normal rhythm now, if you haven't done so already. Being with yourself in a very tender, open, and accepting way. Just taking your time now, and whenever it feels right, you can just gently open your eyes. And when you open them, just open them with a soft gaze. It's a very gentle, soft gaze. If you do want to stay with your eyes closed for another few moments, it's fine. All right.
Thank you.
That was just a teeny little taster. And you can see that's what breathwork is like when it's non-directed, when I'm not telling people to breathe faster, or do this or do that, which is part of what makes this really work, where people, the experience all comes from within, what's ready to happen and what your psyche is wanting to bring you in this moment. That's what makes it so powerful and really allows people to connect more in their everyday life with this inner guidance by just closing their eyes and checking in with themselves, starting to trust themselves more, and starting to feel much more confident in who they are.
Yeah, it's interesting because my experience was definitely, I'm like, wait, who am I? Where am I? What's happening? So there's definitely not a lot of concern about being liked or anything like that in that experience. So thank you so much for bringing us through that. I so appreciate it. Because we're running low on time, I want to make sure you have a chance to talk about a free gift that you're giving away, and we've got a button linking over to your website. Can you share about that?
Yes. So if you just go to my website, right at the top of the page, like just a little bit, is it says try a free breathwork session. You just have to click on that and put in your name and email and choose the session that you'd like to do. They're 2-hour sessions, and we do 5 or 6 a week, so at different times, so you can find one that works for you. And, ultimately with something like this, it's experiential. The only real way to check it out is to really do it and see if it resonates with you. And once you do experience your 2-hour breathwork session, after that, you'll get an email offering you, if you did like it and want to continue, to do a whole month of breathwork for free. And we offer over 24 live facilitated sessions every month. So you can really see if like making it into a yoga, into a practice, the amazing, amazing like shifts that you can find just in a period of a few weeks. So step 1, free breath work. If you really like it, step 2, do as much as you want for a whole month.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for that amazing offer. And I so hope people take advantage of that. And again, everyone watching, the button is right below, so you can click on it and head over to Michael's site and get yourself signed up. Do you have any last insight you'd like to leave people with before we wrap up?
Yes, I guess like the last thing that I want to say is that you're already enough. Whether people like you or don't like you, whatever happens in your life, whatever mistakes you make, you are already enough. That's the main message that I want to leave people with.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do, Michael, and for this amazing time with you today, and the experiential especially. So I so appreciate you.
But thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you, Avaiya students watching or listening, for showing up for yourself on your own journey today, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.
Avaiya has changed my life.
Avaiya has made me the woman I am today.
Avaiya is my home.
Avaiya is personal freedom.
Avaiya is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about Avaiya.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, Avaiya, for appearing in my inbox.
What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at Avaiya is what the world needs.